Hi, I'm Theresa. Welcome to my cooking show. Today I'm going to make my favorite food, which is pizza. I'm going to show you just how simple it is to make pizza in your very own kitchen from scratch. So let's get started. I have my KitchenAid mixer here, and I'm going to add to the bowl 5 cups of flour and 1½ teaspoon of yeast, 1½ teaspoons of salt, and then I'm just going to put that down and turn it and stir that salt slowly. And I'm just going to drizzle in 2¼ cups of water. This is just your plain rustic dough. It's going to give us a nice crust and a nice chewy texture, and that's exactly what we want. Now, if by chance you're making this and the dough is just a little bit too dry, then you're going to add more water. Yeah, and if it's too wet, you'll add more flour. Now, in this mixer, it's going to have to mix for exactly 8 to 10 minutes. I'm going to put this to the side and let that mix. And then I'm going to show you how to do it by hand. So in this bowl, I have the same amount of flour, the same amount of salt, and the same amount of yeast. And then I'm going to add about 1 cup of water. And this time I'm going to do it with my hand or this spatula. And this is cold water. I'm going to stir it. And you just keep adding water until it becomes manageable. Now, if you know that you're going to have pizza a day or two before, it'd be a good idea to put your dough in the refrigerator and let it have a cold fermentation. I'm telling you, the difference in the taste of your crust is like night and day. You'll be surprised at how much different the crust will taste, how much better. So, when you're doing it by hand, you want to flour your board, and you're going to take your dough out. You're going to get it nice and floury. And you're going to have to do it by hand. You're going to do it with the palm of your hand. You're going to have to do it for about 15 minutes to get the same type of texture that the mixer will give you. So once you finish kneading it, you'll take a bowl, you'll put some olive oil in it, just so it won't, put the olive oil around in the bowl, and you'll put this inside your bowl so it can double in size. Take a piece of saran wrap, and cover it. You put it in a warm place if you want to use it for within the next hour or so. This only has to rise for about an hour or so. I'm going to put it right here in the microwave, and I'll check on it in an hour. Today I'm just going to make my typical pepperoni and a spinach and feta topping. So while my pan is getting, I'm gonna get this dough off my hand. So now we're gonna make the tomato sauce. I have some olive oil here. Put it in my pan, probably about 2 tablespoons. And I'm gonna put some garlic that I already chopped up in the pan. This is just your simple tomato sauce. So I'm using dry basil, and I'm just gonna put that right in the pan with the oil. Put some pepper, ground pepper in there. We're letting this cook. And some salt. Gonna stir it up. Let that cook. Let it get nice and toasty. Once that gets nice and toasty, you pour your tomatoes in. You could smell all the good flavors. Now, if you wanted to, I have some basil right here. You could use fresh basil, but I find that it really doesn't make that much of a difference if you're using fresh or dry. But I'll put some in anyway. And just chop that up. Put that in. And fresh basil and tomato is just one of the best flavors ever. So now that the onion, garlic is cooking, I'm going to add my tomatoes. And this is just a large can of tomatoes. You want to get the better tomato. Forget about the 10 for $10 tomato. If you have to pay $3 for a can of tomatoes, that's great. And you'll be glad you did, because the flavor is like night and day. They're sweeter, they're redder, they're more plump, because that sun gives it all the goodness. So I'm going to stir this. That's just your simple basil and tomato sauce. Little salt, little pepper. And I got the chunky tomatoes just so when you bite into your sauce, it's just a little bit of extra flavor. So let me taste. It's sweet. I might need a little bit of more salt, a little bit more pepper. Woo! Stir it up. And that's it. I don't think it gets any simpler than this. So now, I think my crust, my dough, is ready. It's been mixing for a while. It's kind of wet, so I'm going to add a little bit more flour to it. I'm going to put flour on my hand just to get it off the hook. Get this off. Move this in the back. Turn my tomato sauce off because it doesn't need to cook. And I'm gonna get my dough out the bowl. Like so. Now, if you're wondering the way it should feel like a pillow. Throw a little flour on the board. It should feel like a nice, soft, fluffy pillow that you want to lay your head on. Now, this recipe can make maybe 2 large pizzas or 4 smaller ones. So, oh wow, this is so nice and so soft. So I'm gonna make it in a nice little ball. And just like the one I made by hand before, let me see. You would do the same with this one. Put a little, let me see, olive oil in the bowl. And take your dough and kind of put it underneath. Put that in the bowl. Get a little flour on the top so it doesn't. So if you don't have saran wrap handy, you could just put a nice clean towel over it and you let that rise. Now, I just happen to have some dough already ready. This dough I allowed to ferment in the refrigerator. I divided it into 4 sections and I allowed it to ferment in the refrigerator for 2 days. I am going to make 2 pizzas on these screens. So I'll pick this up. So you push it out, flatten it out. You kind of make that round crust circle, if you see what I'm doing here. Make sure your hands are nice and floured. And kind of stretch it as you go. But you still want to be gentle because you don't want to tear it. Now, one thing about making, you can kind of roll it on your knuckles if you like. One thing about making dough at home or making food at home, you are in charge. So if it doesn't come out perfectly round, it's okay. It'll still taste good. Okay. This looks like it's going to be a personal pan pizza, and that's fine. I'm going to make another pizza crust because I'm going to flour it out a little bit. And again, you want to roll it up in a ball. And just flatten it out with your fingertips and kind of stretch it as you go along. Let's see if how this one will turn out. Then kind of stretch it on your knuckles, like so. And the more you do this, the better you'll become at it. Stretch it out. Okay, for starters, I'm gonna use my ladle I'm gonna put a little bit of my sauce. Make sure your sauce is warm. Stir in all those good flavors. And just put it in the center there. And turn it around. Leave a little edge around. Okay. So I have some Parmesan. I have feta for my spinach. And I also have my favorite, mozzarella. But before I put my mozzarella cheese on, I'm gonna load it up with pepperoni because that's what I like. So at this particular point, you would put your meat on, or just your cheese, or whatever it is that you like on your pizza. My favorite is pepperoni, so that's what I'm putting on. Then I'll take my mozzarella cheese, low moisture mozzarella cheese, and spread it on. Lots of cheese. And top it off with more pepperoni. Like so. That's nice and pepperoni-ish. Some Parmesan cheese, a little bit of basil, and handy dandy olive oil. Now, let's go to the next pizza, which is my spinach and feta. So first I'm going to put my olive oil on the bottom. I'm going to spread a little mozzarella on the top. Just a little on the top. And then I sauteed some onions and a little bit of garlic and some olive oil. So I'll put that over the pizza. And then I took some spinach. You could use frozen spinach. You just want to make sure you drain it. You could put it in a paper towel and wring it. Just wring it with your hands. Place it in a paper towel and wring it. Put it in a strainer. Okay. Now, if you haven't tasted feta and spinach, you're in for a treat because the combination of the two is divine. So I'm not going to use all of my spinach. I'll save some for another time. So I forgot to put the feta on there. Put that on the top. That's good. Real good. Wipe my hands off. Put a little olive oil on this. Sprinkle a little basil on top. My oven has been preheating for the past hour at 450 degrees. So I'm going to put this in here for about 15 minutes. Okay. by chance, what I did was just a little bit too much for you, you can always put your pizza on bread. But you want to get a bread that has some oomph to it, some substance to it, like a baguette or a ciabatta roll, or perhaps even these bagels right here. I'm going to use a bagel. You want to use something with substance, something with a bite to it, because if you don't, it'll just smash up. It won't hold the toppings that you want to put on it. So I'm going to take another tray. You can get your bagel. And the reason why I chose a bagel is because when I was a little girl, my girlfriend, sister, and I, we would go down to a pizza shop in Oakland after school, and we would get pizza bagels. They were 15 cents a piece. Somehow only one of us would have 15 cents. I'm still trying to get that. So anyway, you take your bagel, you put your not your homemade sauce, but your store-bought sauce out of the jar or out of the can. Put that on your bagel, or put it on any type of bread you choose to use. That's keeping it simple. And put your cheese on it. Like so. Put your pepperoni on it. And you got yourself a pizza bagel that we're going to put in the oven in just a few. Sprinkle a little. So we're going to make a spinach bagel as well. First, I'm going to start with a little olive oil. Set this right here. Little olive oil, little cheese. Do I have any spinach? And let's not forget that handy dandy feta, which brings that flavor out totally. Totally brings the flavor out. All right, so I'm going to put that right here, and I'm going to put this in the oven as well. So if you're anything like me, you probably like beer or wine to go with your pizza as your favorite beverage. But today I thought we would make something for everybody to enjoy. And so I'm going to make my family's favorite mint tea and lime. So I have 4 cups of water boiling here, and I'm going to put 4 tea bags in and let that steep for about 5 minutes. And while that's steeping, I'm going to juice a lime. I'm going to juice a lime. If you take your lime from the refrigerator and let it stay out so it could become room temperature, you'll get more juice out of it. the warmer it is, the more juice you get out of it. And if you like more lime, or if you rather use lemon as opposed to lime, it's up to you. That's one thing about being the cook in charge. You do what you like to do. So now I'm gonna take a couple sprigs of mint. Smells so good. And I'm gonna put that in the water. Now, this is hot, but I'm gonna pour it in here anyway because it's warm. So, you don't want to squeeze your tea bags in there because they'll end up being a little bitter, make your tea bitter. You'll start off maybe with a half a cup of sugar while the tea is still hot or warm, because that way it dissolves. So that's hot, and it's okay. It looks like the sugar has already dissolved. So before you put this in the refrigerator, you want it to completely cool, because if it doesn't completely cool, that's when your tea becomes cloudy and you want a nice clear glass of tea. So now I got 3 frosted glasses. I'm going to put some ice cubes in each one. And I have these limes that I pre-sliced. I'm gonna put 1 in each glass. And I'm gonna pour. Look at that. Just enough for 3. Cameraman, my husband, and me. So I'll take little sprints of lime, put it right there. Put a little piece for decoration on the side. And a little piece of mint. Use another one. Little piece of mint in each glass. Okay, so I'm going to take this pizza out of the oven. Pizza number 1, pizza number 2. And our pizza bagels. And I'm going to sprinkle each pizza with some Asiago and Parmesan cheese. Just like so. So it's nice and crispy. Right there. Our drinks. And if to round this off as a full meal, I like to have a tossed salad. Already made the tossed salad. Every kind of vegetable that I like, carrots and lettuce. There's my tossed salad. Now, let me show you just how simple it is to make a dressing. Red wine vinegar, salt, pepper, and olive oil. So, equal amounts of olive oil, I'll say probably a 1/4 cup, and equal amount of vinegar. I'm using red wine vinegar, but you can use balsamic, you could use any flavor that you like. You can even use apple cider vinegar or plain white vinegar, whatever you like. Now this is just a quick dressing, but it's still delicious. Little salt, little pepper, and just whisk it up. If you like yours on the sweeter side, you could put a little sugar, teaspoon of sugar. I'd rather have mine like this. It's very, very good. So that's our dressing. Let me have a sip of my drink. It's perfect. Remember to start off with just a 1/2 cup of sugar because you don't want it to be too sweet. I'm gonna take just a little piece of this pie, put it up to my mouth. Delicious. When you make your own pizza at home, you'll wonder why you ever went to a pizzeria to begin with. So, here we are, Jay. What would you like to taste?
Heart roll.
The heart roll, the pizza bagel?
Pizza bagel.
Okay. And to make it real nice, how about some salad?
Okay.
Little salad. Your favorite tomato. Okay. Taste it. Salad always makes things well-rounded. A balanced dinner or a balanced lunch. I already taste the regular pizza, so I'm gonna taste the spinach and feta.
Looks good. Cheers.
Cheers. This tastes better than I imagined it. Well, if you like what you saw today, write me through my email, let me know, give me some suggestions, what you'd like me to make for you in the future. It was fun for me, and this is so good.